Hello there, students. Welcome to this week number 1 from the Model 7. Welcome to Annie and Diane. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and my name is Marta Manriquez, and I'm going to be your English teacher during this model. I just want to thank you for being on time, so you're so punctual. And any question, problem, situation you have, you can share it by that email. So I'm going to be active here by using my cell phone, so I can see any question, problem, or anything you want to share, you can do it. I already have it here, and there we go. I'm just activating this information. There we are. So any question, problem, or situation, just type it, and I'm going to be reading it, okay? So I'm going to share with you a presentation which is about the week number 1 in this model 7. As you know, I created presentation for you, which is going to help you a lot with your information, and it's very useful for you. So I hope it helped you. And there we go. I'm going to be setting here we are. Okay, so as you know, my life in another language, it's the model 7, and you already had the model 6, and it already helped you a lot with the vocabulary, and sometimes you study some structures and some tenses. So it's really good because you already have some basic vocabulary. The way to keep in touch, we have many different ways, but the main way to do it is through the platform, by the message, and by the email too. So you can do it. And the only thing, I just want to thank you for all the good comments that I have received. And I want to tell you that if you have any problem, or maybe with technical problem, you can send a message or an email, but in the email you need to incorporate your full name, your group, and the screenshot, so I can have the evidence of the problem, because sometimes we can face that kind of problems, and you need to send that so we can find the mistake easily and like faster, right? So in that way, we're going to help you a lot with this. And the way to keep in touch, we have a platform at the right side. We have participants. So you're going to find my email footer in this recovery. We don't have a footer. So you have to do the activities, social, emotional activities. You have to do them by yourself. They're going to be different in this case. You have to do the activities for week number 1 and week number 3. So in this case, you have to read and try to read and at the same time understand the social emotional activity, and then start like a questionnaire. So you have to do both the social emotional activity and answer to the questionnaire. As you know, we have a supervisor, and also we have the classmates. So you can find the email and the information about them. So that's it. Decision, well, the purpose of decision is to establish ways to communicate and organize during the Model 7. I'm going to explain in a formal way the topics and spelling rules to enable you to structure affirmative, negative, and interrogative or questions. You can also like create sentences or even paragraphs. So, hello, Haido, welcome. And I want to modulate the pronunciation of the vocado way to express it. You can just record your audio by WhatsApp, and you can just share by Drive. Basic way to do it. It's another option, okay? So in this case, I'm going to modulate the pronunciation to distinguish the tonic syllable or the stress. We find it like that. There is a mistake here. In order to perfectly and to be able to share some useful information. And also, I'm going to share with you some materials that are going to help you a lot to keep learning, right? The important information, we're going to keep in touch by platform, as I already told you, by messages and photos. And obviously, the email. That's going to be one of the ways you can just find and use, as I already told you, with the evidence, right? The time, I'm going to be active every day from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Sometimes I work at night and I try to check the activities. And obviously, you're going to have like that time to do it if you want. If you have any question, you can express it at a time. You see that I'm active. The way to do it, it's going to be by the YouTube channel that I already had. And the news forum, it's going to help me to share important information for you and the link for each week. As you know, I have during the week number 1, 2, and 3, I have 72 hours to check your activities, and the 4th week, I have just 48 hours. During this model, we're going to be working with different tenses, but first, we're going to start with what are you doing? That's a unit 1, and where were you learning? That's that unit 2. In this case, we're going to be talking a little bit about progressive. Present progressive and past progressive. We have to upload the activity dancing at the mauling and then meanwhile. So we're going to try to find out about it. The unit 1 is going to help you with the present progressive, the way we express it when sometimes we are doing something and we're talking at the same time. It's just to express it like that. And we have another option that it's in the unit 2 about the past progressive, something that was being developed. So that's the difference. In the structure, it's almost the same, but we're going to find it. But before we start the activities, the formative activities, mostly, we need to start the capital letters in all these sentences. As you know, the formative activities are going to be like the platform checks them. So if they didn't like identify any letter or any sign or any, at least the dot or something, it's going to be like a mistake. So try to start with the capital letter at the beginning and with a period here, or dot, in this case, any sentence. Don't use the question mark at the beginning. We don't use it. We only use the one at the end. So in this case, the way to recover that I already told you, another option is the formal way is to do it by Drive, because we need to help you to be like learning the way to use the Drive application or Drive program. In this case, you have to do it. So we're thinking about the future, like if you're in a, I don't know, it's just in your job when you're working, and I am sure that it's going to help you a lot. That kind of programs or that kind of exercises are going to help you a lot, because sometimes we try to avoid that kind of learning, but it's important to know it. Here, I already shared the way to do it correctly, obviously using Drive, but I also want to share with you the main mistake that I've been facing every model. Like sometimes people just select the file and then just put it the area, right, at the cloud. When they put it there, they try to copy this link, which is not correct. This link, it's not the one to share. You have to click on the right button and then you're gonna have these options on the file. Okay, you're gonna get the link to share, so that's gonna be the main. You have this option, Vocaro. It's another option. It's an online recorder, so you can just click on it here, like on a triangle that it's here, like play, and you start talking. But first, I want to tell you, you need to be close to the microphone, because sometimes I cannot just identify the words. Once you finish, you just click on it and then you just save and share the link. You can have a lot of options. If you see here, I'm going to just put it in a bigger size so you can find. You can just copy the link, you can download, or you can share by many different ways. Okay, it's just another option if you don't want to be like doing it by Drive. Okay, useful materials for you. I know some of you like English, so I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to be trying to share with you some important applications like DeepL. DeepL it's one of the most important translators that are going to help you in your model. Try to avoid Traductor Google. Google Translator, it's not that much. It's not like good. I mean, not for this environment, right? Like academic. So we can use DeepL. Then we have Duolingo. So we can use it to express or to learn vocabulary. We have Follow, which is very important for you because you can, when you have already vocabulary and you know some phrases, you can start like practicing with this because they are conversations. And we have Buddy, which is another option that it's going to help you. We're going to start with the present continuous, which is, I already told you that it's about how to express the actions that are being developed at the moment of speaking. For example, in this case, I am teaching. Yo estoy enseñando. You are listening. Tú estás escuchando. Esas acciones se están llevando a cabo en el momento en el cual yo estoy hablando y ustedes están escuchando. Entonces, a eso se refiere lo que es el presente continuo. Esa acción que se está desarrollando al momento de hablarlo. First of all, as a structure, we have many different ways to express it. First of all, we can use subjects or we can use personal pronouns. So in this case, we have I, yo, he, él, she, ella, it, eso. Then we have we, nosotros, you, tú, ustedes, they, ellos. So in this case, we already have different ways to express. Okay, so, just a minute. Let me check. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Very good. So in this case, when we start with the personal pronoun, we can use as an auxiliary the verb to be. Maybe some of you already know it, but if you didn't or if you don't, we can use it like I am es como yo soy o yo estoy. El verb to be es ser o estar. So we use it like I am. Then we use he, she, it is. Él, ella o eso es. For example, I can say, it is brown. Eso, hablando de, por ejemplo, mi perrito, él es café. O sea, hablando del perrito, ok, it is brown. We are es nosotros somos o nosotros estamos. You are, tú eres o tú estás. They are, ellos son o ellos están. So in this way, we can express ourselves like by using this verb to be. First, we need to see who did the action. For example, in this case, we have the personal pronouns. And then we use the verb to be like am, una categoría, I am. Otra categoría, he, she, it is. And another one, we use they are. Ellos son, ellos están. Tú eres, tú estás, ustedes son, ustedes están. They are, ellos son, they are, ellos están. So we can use the same structure to express the different ways, right? Then when I want to talk in a negative form, I just put it like adding by not after the verb to be. And finally, when I want to make some questions with the answer that is yes, no questions, we're going to answer or try to change am, I. Once I already have this, what I wanted to, it's just trying to add another option that it's gerund. I mean, ya tengo una parte de la oración que dice yo estoy. Ahora me va a faltar el verbo, por ejemplo, corriendo, bailando, jugando. So that way it's gerund. Así que esa parte es el gerundio. O sea, yo voy a tomar en cuenta esta estructura para agregar el gerundio. We have grammatical rules. Tenemos algunas reglas. Obviously, as I already told you, we're going to be talking about the verbs. Vamos a hablar sobre verbos. So, in this way, they are not in the base form. Obviamente no van a estar en su forma base, porque no estoy diciendo correr, bailar, jugar. Lo que voy a decir es bailando, jugando, cantando. So, the way to do it is to take the verb in the base form and just add ing. La forma de hacer esa terminación de ando, endo, yendo es con ing. So, we just added for some of them. La primera regla gramatical para poder hacer ese ando, endo, de correr a corriendo, es agregar ing al verbo en su forma base. Por ejemplo, tengo aquí el verbo go. Si yo quiero decir yendo, en vez de decir ir, quiero que diga yendo, yo estoy yendo, voy a agregarle ing. Esa es la primera regla. La mayor parte de los verbos lo hacemos así. But there are some options, pero hay algunas opciones, por ejemplo, si el verbo termina en la letra E, if the verb ends with E, we need to add ing. Tenemos que agregar ing, ¿ok? So, dance pasa a ser, eliminamos la E y agregamos ing. Del dance pasa a ser dancing. De move, que también termina en E, quitamos la E porque es una vocal. Y como le vamos a agregar una vocal de ing, entonces por eso es que se tiene que eliminar. De move, de mover, pasa a ser moviendo. Then we have another option. If we have a verb that ends with, it's like consonant, vowel, and consonant. And the stress at that part, at the end. Si tenemos un verbo que termina en consonante, consonante es todo aquello que no es vocal, ¿ok? Entonces, si termina una consonante, luego sigue una vocal y después regresa otra consonante, y además de eso, tiene la sílaba tónica en esa parte, pues entonces lo que tenemos que hacer es duplicar la última consonante, perdón, para poder agregar ahora sí ing. En este caso tengo, por ejemplo, aquí, prefer. El verbo prefer, if I clap, si hago el aplauso que normalmente usamos, prefer. Prefer. Fer está más fuerte, entonces cumple con la regla de terminar en consonante, vocal, consonante. Lo que hago es de que el verbo en su forma base, en lugar de ser prefer, va a ser preferring. ¿Ok? Prefer, preferring. ¿Is that clear? ¿Está claro? Any question, doubt, situation? Hasta ahorita llevamos 3 reglitas. La primera, ing. La segunda, si termina el verbo con E en su forma base, la quito para poderle agregar el ing. Y la tercera, consonante, vocal, consonante. Si el verbo en su forma base termina en consonante, vocal, consonante y está el stress, o sea, la sílaba tónica, entonces lo que hago es duplicar la última consonante independientemente de la que sea para poder agregar ing. ¿Ok? Prefer, preferring. The rule D, tenemos la regla D, que también es similar a la que acabamos de pasar, pero la diferencia radica en la en la stress, en la sílaba tónica, ¿ok? Because sometimes we find some verbs, porque algunas veces encontramos algunos verbos que terminan en consonante, vocal, consonante. But the stress is at the beginning, pero la sílaba tónica está al inicio y no en esta parte final de consonante, vocal, consonante. Como el ejemplo de listen, listen, listen. Si se fijan, la palabra listen, como que es más alto, listen, como que cae el sonido. Entonces, eso quiere decir que el stress no está aquí, no está al final. Si no dijera listen, dice listen. ¿Ok? Como que sube un poquito aquí. Entonces, cumple con la regla de ser consonante, vocal, consonante, pero no aplica con el stress. No aplica con la sílaba tónica. Entonces, de listen pasamos a listening. O sea que con esto no agrego nada, solamente el ing. Cuidando que cumple con la regla, pero no al 100%. Entonces, no aplicará agregarle o duplicarle nada. Solamente le agrego ing y de listen, de escuchar, pasa a listening, escuchando. Then we have some verbs that end with WX and Y. Algunos verbos que terminen en WX e Y aquí. Nosotros lo que vamos a hacer es agregarle ing. Es decir, esta regla se especifica así porque en algunos tiempos verbales se hacen algunas modificaciones. a los verbos que terminan en ciertas letras. Entonces, se especifica aparte que las que terminan en W, X o con Y, solamente le agregamos ing. No va a haber nada más. Es como si fueran parte de la primera regla, que es ing solamente. Entonces, tenemos el verbo enjoy, que es disfrutar, para pasarlo en enjoying, disfrutando. Enjoy, disfrutar, enjoying, disfrutando. Then we have some verbs. Tenemos pocos verbos que terminan con I latina y la E. En este caso, die, que es el verbo morir. If I want to say muriendo, si quiero decir muriendo, lo que tengo que hacer entonces es que tengo que agregar die, eliminar I latina y la E y agregarle Y. ¿Por qué es este cambio? Porque lo que voy a agregarle es ing, o sea, que empieza con otra vocal. Por lo tanto, no puedo yo acumular tantas vocales juntas. Si no dijera dying, es totalmente distinto y gramaticalmente no es correcto. Entonces, lo que voy a hacer es eliminar I latina E y agregar Y para poder, ahora sí, como la Y no es vocal, es una consonante, entonces yo agrego ing, que empieza con vocal. So, we change it, así que cambiamos de die, que es morir, a decir dying, ¿ok? Muriendo. Now we already have the present continuous. Y ahora sí ya tenemos el presente continuo. ¿Cómo? Bueno, les decía que al igual que en español tenemos que poner primero quién hace la acción en las afirmaciones, ¿ok? Yo, tú, él, nosotros, ustedes, ellos, Ana, Sofía, Luis, demás. Entonces tenemos nosotros estos pronombres personales y posteriormente tenemos el verb to be, que es como el auxiliar. Yo aquí tengo yo y luego de ahí tengo el am, que es soy o estoy. Yo soy o yo estoy. En este caso vamos a usar como el estoy. Yo estoy y después agrego el verbo con terminación ing. Si se fijan, todos terminan en ing. Radica un poquito la diferencia en la terminación del verbo en su forma base, si le agrego, le duplico, si solamente si le cambio. Entonces, there is one of the options that is just playing. Playing se sale un poquito de la reglita. Esta es una excepción, ¿ok? Termina en Y, pues solamente agrego ing. Ok, aquí si se fijan, playing no es, o sea, aplica dentro de la regla de que no pasa nada con W, X, Y. And then we already have an example. Ya tenemos un ejemplo como I am playing. Yo estoy jugando. She is swimming. Ella está nadando. We are running. Nosotros estamos corriendo. Si se dan cuenta, y aquí nosotros tenemos oraciones afirmativas. What happened? You are reading a book. Tú estás leyendo un libro. You can use contractions too. También podemos utilizar contracciones en lugar de decir I am, puedo decir am, your. O por ejemplo aquí sería you are, your. He is, his. She is, she's. It is, its. You are, your. We are, we're. They are, their. Y listo. Hago una contracción. Después le agrego el verbo en gerundio. I am reading the newspaper. Estoy leyendo el periódico. And then we have the negative form after that. So we start the same structure, but only adding not after the verb to be. You are not listening the instructions. You are not listening the instructions. Tú no estás escuchando las instrucciones. As you can see, we have not. And then, well, I want to clarify this. I can say she is not, he is not, we are not, okay? That's the way. And then we have the way to express the questions. We can talk about affirmative and negative or positive questions. But in this case, if your questions are going to be like yes, no answer, you can use the follow instruction. We start and change a little bit the personal pronoun and subject and the verb to be, the auxiliary. We change them. For example, we start our questions with that, like, are you teaching math? ¿Estás tú enseñando matemáticas. And don't forget the question mark. Y no olviden el último signo de interrogación. Is she teaching maths? ¿Está ella enseñando matemáticas? And then the question mark. Not at the beginning. Acuérdense que al inicio no se usa ese tipo de signos de interrogación. So the way to express the answer, la manera de responder a eso será yes, I am, o yes, she is, o yes, he is, o dependiendo del pronombre, yes, we are. Sí, nosotros estamos, como si dijeras, estamos haciendo eso, ¿ok? Eso que me estás preguntando, sí, sí lo estamos haciendo nosotros. Si fuese la pregunta directa hacia nosotros. So now that's a yes, no question. Tenemos esa opción de sí o no. Cuando le damos opciones al momento de preguntar, estamos dando dos opciones al momento de contestar. ¿Por qué? Porque pueden decirme sí o no lo que me están diciendo. But there is a difference. Pero hay una diferencia. Cuando tenemos nosotros preguntas informativas, entonces lo que sucede es que ya no me van a decir sí o no, sino que me van a dar información. Y eso única y exclusivamente se hace al seguir la misma estructura del progresivo, pero agregándole WH categories, agregándole la categoría de WH. ¿Qué es eso? Son palabritas clave que nos permiten hacer preguntas. Por ejemplo, who es quién. What podría ser qué o cuál. En algunas opciones, porque también usamos which. When es cuándo, where, dónde, why, por qué y how es cómo. Aunque no empieza con WH, entra dentro de esas categorías de las palabras para preguntar. If you put it at the beginning, si la ponemos al inicio de nuestra estructura que ya teníamos con sí o no, cambia totalmente. For example, what are you reading? What are you reading? ¿Qué estás tú leyendo? I'm reading a newspaper, for example. And remember to add the question mark. Y no olviden el signo de interrogación al final. Okay? It is just like that. It's time for questions. I want to see if you want to express any question or something. Do you have any question? Just type it. Si tienen dudas, chicos, con confianza. There is a difference between present and past, obviously, that's huge, but at the structure, it's almost the same. I just want to tell you that if you already understand a little bit about the structure and the rules, you're going to see like it's going to be easier for you. For example, I say, I am in present, but in past, we have another option. I was, yo era o yo estaba. Esa es la diferencia. En presente digo yo soy o yo estoy. En pasado digo yo era o yo estaba. En ese sentido, tenemos que, we have another option too. Tenemos otra categoría que es he, she, it, que va con is. Y por último tenemos we, you, they, que va con are. If you see, there are three categories. Tenemos tres categorías, am, is, are. But in the past progressive, we use was and were. Usamos era o estaba, que las dos significan lo mismo, solamente gramaticalmente tienen distinto sentido. I was, she was, he was, it was. Was es una categoría. Y luego tengo we were, you were, there were. Where es otra categoría. Entonces, si ustedes se fijan en el presente, nosotros usamos tres categorías. Sorry. Usamos tres categorías. La primera categoría va a ser la de am, is, es la segunda, y are es la tercera. En ese sentido, tenemos nosotros que en el pasado única y exclusivamente vamos a utilizar was o were. Así que grábense muy bien con qué pronombre va. ¿Por qué? Porque no podemos usarlo todo como quisiéramos nosotros nada más. Es todo en orden. Repito, en el presente nosotros decimos yo estoy bailando y en el pasado progresivo yo digo yo estaba bailando. Ella está jugando en presente, ella estaba jugando. ¿Ok? So that's different. Repito, si tú sigues esta estructura, solamente le agregas el gerundio, o sea, la terminación ing en el verbo que sigue y listo. Tendrás oraciones en progresivo, tanto en presente como en pasado. So there is a difference like, I am studying now. Yo estoy estudiando ahora. Y tengo otra opción. I was studying last night. Yo estaba estudiando ayer por la noche. There is a difference. In the present, we use now. En el presente continuo, nosotros usamos ahora, at this moment, en este momento, this week, esta semana, this month, este mes, o today, hoy. But in the past continuous, pero en el pasado continuo, nosotros usamos distintas expresiones de tiempo, like last night, anoche, yesterday, ayer, while, mientras, y when, cuando. Cuando yo estaba tomando un baño, when I was taking a shower, and you can express yourself there. We have the past continuous here, and it is the same in the structure. Like, we have affirmative and two different categories. Tenemos dos diferentes categorías, was y were. And then we have the negative form, like was not or were not in the negative form. And finally, we have interrogative form, like was I studying? Were you sleeping? Or something like that. So if you want to make some informative questions, we also have the way to express just the WH words at the beginning. Lo único que hacemos cuando queremos hacer preguntas en pasado progresivo es que también agregamos las palabras WH, pero al inicio. En lugar de empezar mi pregunta con was she o were you, le pongo WH, cualquiera de las preguntas, y con eso tendríamos what were you doing last night? ¿Qué estabas tú haciendo la noche de ayer? O ayer por la noche. Then we have the question mark. Tenemos también aquí el signo de interrogación. Repito, al inicio no se pone, no existe en el inglés. Al final sí. Now we are going to be reading this text. I am a nurse and I was working in the third floor of the hospital. I was working. Yo estaba trabajando. And then we have, I'm sorry. Attending to George in a surgery. When the alarm sounded, cuando la alarma sonó. Si se fijan, hay una diferencia muy marcada entre el pasado progresivo y, bueno, otro tipo de verbos. Okay, so if you see here, I was working, eso es pasado progresivo. Entonces los verbos que nosotros vayamos a ver, estudiar, acuérdense que les tenemos que agregar ing o cualquiera de las reglitas para después agregar ing, en el sentido de que también existen verbos regulares y verbos irregulares en el pasado. Hay pasado progresivo, que es decir, estoy explicando algo que se estaba desarrollando en el pasado. Pero el pasado simple, vamos a pasar que es el tercer tema, es aquel tiempo que inició y terminó. Por ejemplo, puedo mezclarlos. I was cleaning, yo estaba limpiando. When I fell down, cuando me caí. No digo cuando me estaba cayendo, digo cuando me caí. Entonces esa es la diferencia en la que radica. Tengo también aquí. I was working, yo estaba trabajando. When the alarm sounded, cuando la alarma sonó. O sea, yo estaba trabajando. I was working when the alarm sounded. There are two different types of verbs. Tenemos dos tipos de verbos, regulares e irregulares, y esto se mide en relación a la estructura gramatical. Entonces, es importante que nosotros nos vayamos aprendiendo el tipo de verbos. Por ejemplo, aquí, si yo digo break y broke, esto es pasado. Aquí, el broke es pasado. El break es en la forma base. Entonces, es como romper, quebrar, y broke, rompí, quebré. Agregándole, obviamente, quién hizo la acción, cuando ya vamos a hacer oraciones. You can mix the simple past and the past continuous. Puedes utilizar ambos tiempos verbales mezclados. Como el ejemplo que les dije. I was driving when I crashed. Ese es otro ejemplo. I was driving. Yo estaba manejando when I crashed. Cuando choqué. Yo estaba manejando. Y luego dice, yo choqué. Si se fijan, no es lo mismo un progresivo con un simple. ¿Ok? Very good. So we have when, while, like keywords. Tenemos también las frases como when, cuando, while, mientras. Okay, that's the option. So we're going to start with the activities, and this is the number one. Remember, we have to see and respect the grammatical rules. this image, we have many different people, like 10 people who are just doing something, right? So in this case, you are going to choose the best option according to the present continuous or present progressive, which is the same, es lo mismo, es lo van a encontrar como presente continuo o presente progresivo. So in these options, you have 10 questions and 10 people here. Tenemos 10 personas que están aquí y las preguntas pues son en relación a cada una de ellas. Ustedes tienen los números aquí. You're going to choose the best option to make the present progressive, okay? And then we have the formative activity number 2. What were you doing when? ¿Qué estabas haciendo cuando? So you need to complete the sentences with the correct past continuous or past progressive. Try to avoid contractions. Traten de evitar contracciones porque las actividades formativas son totalmente autogestibles y la plataforma identifica los caracteres, okay? So we're going to use like I studying, studying, for example. We have a study here and we're going to add the gerund. Ustedes van a transformar estas oraciones en el pasado progresivo. Okay, that's the most important thing. After that, we have to choose, remember, in the past progressive, we choose the verb to be in was and where, and then the gerund. Okay, so you need to see that. Time for questions, express them by the chat. We're going to start with the integral activities and we are almost done with this. Ya casi terminamos, chicos, con la explicación. It's important to know about this. Integrative activities. In the first one, you're going to be watching or just seeing an image and there are some letters here. You're going to answer what they're doing, what they're wearing, what they're just thinking, what you think they're doing or they're thinking about the party or the situation or any meeting that it's being through this painting. So you're going to find it and you're going to tell me the structure of it. Then, once you finish with them, remember we have the letter A, B, C, D, E. And then you need to answer to the present progressive. Finally, we have another way to express. You're going to write 2 questions that you would like to ask to any character. Ustedes van a seleccionar 2 personajes a quienes les gustaría haber preguntado algo. O un solo personaje, pero hacerle 2 preguntas. You can use present progressive, past progressive, or simple past. In this case, try to avoid the simple past mostly, but try to use the progressive. And then once you finish, you're going to try to record a voice message where you can describe what happens in the painting. You're going to pretend that you're sending your email, your file or the recording or the voice message through WhatsApp, and you're going to just say like, hi, guess what? I am watching a fantastic painting named Dance at the Mill of Galette. There are many people there. In the picture, I can see, and you're going to start expressing all the things you already saw. You're going to you're going to add the link, and then we're going to go through activity number 2, meanwhile. Meanwhile, it's the way to express past progressive. And remember, sometimes we can mix them. Les decía, podemos mezclar un poquito los tiempos verbales. Como por ejemplo, I was driving, yo estaba manejando. My car. When, cuando, I crashed, choqué. So if you see, this is a clear example of past progressive and simple past. The difference, it's about the action in the simple past is already finished, and the past continuous is like there is a possibility that you can keep there. In this activity, meanwhile, there was supposed like a robbery, and police officers are trying to find information. Obviously, they're trying to get the people who steal, or in this case, that stole, right, at the house of your neighbor. And then the thieves are gonna be like trying to be, I don't know how to express it, like police officers are all possible thieves. Like neighbors are gonna be the first like suspects, right? So you're gonna supposed to answer the questions in the interview that the police officers are just expressing, right, in an interview here. So you're gonna answer the following questions. The theft occurred between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So during that period of time, what were you doing when the thieves were stealing your neighbor's house? You're gonna mention 3 consecutive activities, and in this case, you use first, after that, and then. So I have an example here, like first I was cooking, after that I ate, and then I cleaned my house. So you can see here we have regular and irregular verbs. What were you doing from 5 to 9 p.m. today? Mention 3 consecutive activities. You're going to use first, primero, after that, después de eso, and then luego. Once you finish with that kind of answers, in the number 3, you're gonna try to express what people who are living with you were doing. Like, for example, I live with my family. First, she was sleeping. After that, she took a shower. And I can just continue. My brother, he was watching TV, and after that, he did homework. Okay, so in this case, we have this way to express it. Like, vas a decir con quiénes vives, y si no vives con alguien más, pues entonces a expresar, vas a expresar lo que ellos estaban haciendo en ese momento del robo, ¿ok? Recuerda agregar 3 personas y 2 acciones para cada uno, o sea que a cada persona le van a tocar 2 en decir, es decir, 6 oraciones vas a hacer. And then you are going to write 3 questions that you like to ask to your neighbor. 3 preguntas que te gustaría hacerle a un vecino que te encontraste ahí caminando acerca del robo. You can use past progressive or present progressive, or you can use both informative or just no questions. Once you finish, you're going to record the answers to the police officers, like the interview they did to you. And then you're going to record and add the link. As you know, in the learning forum, you have to participate by saying or expressing information about a situation that it's occurring at a time. Like right now, I'm studying English. Right now, I am thinking. Right now, I am eating or something, right? Or something you can use like express it. I want you to practice it. And you're going to also talk about situations that occur in the past. You're going to write in English about what you're doing to improve your language skills. I mean, maybe you already have basic vocabulary, but what are you doing to improve? ¿Qué estás haciendo para mejorar tus habilidades en el idioma? I'm listening to music, I'm just watching TV, I'm doing so many different things. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Also, you're going to share what you were doing before starting Prepa Línea SEP, what you learned, and how your life, I mean, in the complete or in the full year, how your life has changed in this last year. So you're going to express todos los cambios que has tenido en este tiempo, en este año, en este último año. Finally, we have social emotional questionnaire, and as I already told you, you have to do first the activity and then the questionnaire. You're gonna answer and upload the questionnaire, okay? It's time for questions. If you don't have any question, it's time to express it. I mean, even though if you didn't like have any question right now, maybe when you start working with your activities, you have any question, you know you can count on me and I'm gonna be here trying to help you, okay? Chicos y chicas, pues por mi parte, hasta todo. I want to thank you for being here. Quiero agradecerles por estar aquí. Única y exclusivamente quiero decirles que posiblemente ahorita no tengan preguntas, pero si así son, ustedes pueden hacerlo a través del mensajero o a través del correo electrónico que personalmente pues ya deben de tener y aparte cualquier duda, situación, problema, algo que no haya quedado claro, con toda confianza, I'm here to try to help you. Estoy aquí para ayudarles, chicos. It was a real pleasure and see you next week. Estaré trabajando con ustedes, estaré repasando Y también estaré revisando sus actividades. Si a alguno de ustedes se le presenta alguna situación en la cual requiera de prórroga, con toda confianza sientan la libertad de solicitarla. Obviamente no excedernos en el sentido de, tenemos que ser honestos. Cuando realmente se pida, entonces solicitarlo. ¿Ok? Estoy para ayudarles and it is a really pleasure to meet you guys and see you next week. Los veo la próxima semana. ¿Ok? Goodbye.